Hey guys, welcome to ADR Tech Reviews, and today we'll be doing something that I have never done before, a case review. And I'm very proud to say that my first case review will be the Phanteks Enthoo Pro. I actually got this for Christmas because, well, Christmas was yesterday at the time of filming. So Merry Christmas to you guys. Pretty late, but Merry Christmas. And as you guys can hear, I'm pretty sick, so don't tune out. It's just my voice kind of weird, and I'll be back soon, don't worry. Let's start off with some dimensions. This is a full tower case, so the width is 235 millimeters, the depth is 550 millimeters, and it's 535 millimeters tall. It has some really nice acrylic windowing that's very reflective, but sadly can be a fingerprint magnet, as well as the side panel as well. The fingerprints are really noticeable, at least in person. The side panel window is a split window design, one window showing your internals and the other one showing the small Phanteks logo here. Now into the internals we see very ample spacing with a PSU bracket, which I'm kind of disappointed by because they could do a lot more with the PSU bracket, considering that there's only one rubber grommet on the outside and no rubber grommets on the top or any SSD mounts on the top, which would I like to see. Well, on the PSU bracket, it is held down by thumb screws, which in the past it actually wasn't held down by thumb screws, which a lot of people complained about, that it was held down by screws. But Phanteks went ahead and replaced those screws with thumb screws. So if you are buying this case, you will receive the case with thumb screws instead of screws like the past. Continuing on the inside, we do have 8 PCI brackets. On the inside we also have a rear reservoir mount for 2 reservoirs. On the back we do have an included 140mm fan. This rear 140mm fan can also be replaced with a 120 or 140mm radiator. You can add 2 120mm fans on the hard drive cages if you wanted to for improved airflow, but you would have to take off the support bracket in between the 2 hard drive cages with a few screws for more clearance. On the inside we also see that there are included and already mounted motherboard standoffs, which I really like to see. It really takes off the stress and the work to put those things in. Taking off the power supply bracket, we can see that there are rubber feet for the power supply to sit in so there's no vibration. Also, we can see that we do have a fan mount on the bottom. And taking off the hard drive bays and the hard drive bay mount, we can see that we can't fit 2 120mm fans or 1 140mm fan. We can also fit a 120mm or 140mm and a 240mm radiator on the bottom if we wanted to. But keep in mind that with the PSU bracket installed, we will have some interference with the fans and the airflow. Not mentioning that also that there are 2 fan filters on the bottom, one for the PSU bracket and one for the 2 fan holes on the bottom. The PSU fan filter can be accessed through the back, and the filter for the bottom fans can be accessed through the front. On the inside we also have toolless optical drive connectors. We do have a nice cover for the hard drive cage, which is accessible only through the back, which I really like. You can remove this as basically everything in the case because everything is held down by screws. I didn't really disassemble it because I'm not very good at doing that stuff, and it would have cost a lot of time, which I didn't have, sadly. But if you want to mod it and paint it, you definitely can by removing everything. Going to the front panel, it is removable, and inside of this little mesh here, we do have a removable fan filter for that big 200mm fan in the front. On the front, you can fit 2 120s, 2 140s, or 1 200mm, as you see included. You can also fit a 120mm, 140mm, or a 240mm radiator on the front if you really wanted to. In the front we have 5 1/4 bays. At the top we have something that looks like a 5 1/4 inch bay, but it's actually a front panel I/O. We do have 2 USB 3, 2 USB 2 headphone and audio jacks, and a nice reset button. At the top we have a power on and off switch, and at the top we have a very nice mesh that's actually filtered for fans to go. And as we go under, we can see that we can fit 3 120mm fans, 3 140mm fans, and a 200mm fan if we really wanted to. At the top we can fit a 120mm, 140mm, 240mm, 280mm, 360mm, or 420mm radiators. we do have that flexibility. This case is a very water cooling ready case. To the back we can see the access for the hard drive bays. Going into a little bit more detail of those hard drive bays, you can take one out or both out for access for more airflow or the radiators on the front. The hard drive bays also include a wing-like design for the hard drives to be put in toollessly, but you can put screws on the hard drives if you really wanted to. The hard drive brackets also can support SSDs but only screwed in. Looking to the cable management in the back, we do have some pre-routed front I/O cables with some really nice Velcro straps already included. This case is really noob friendly for cable routing in the back, providing ample space for cable routing and a ton of rubber grommets for hiding those nasty little cables. We also see a very large CPU hole and a bunch of loops for putting zip ties or more Velcro straps that are included in the accessory box, which we will get to soon. In the back we can also see that they do have included a PWM fan hub, which can be plugged into your motherboard PWM fan connector or any PWM fan connector, but since usually a lot of motherboards don't actually have PWM capabilities on a lot of 4-pin headers, it is more recommended to put it on the motherboard CPU header, which is always PWM. If you don't have a PWM fan header on your motherboard, then you can plug it in via SATA power cable, but keep in mind that all your fans will be running at full speed with that option plugged in. This PWM fan hub can provide you with power for up to 6 fans if you really wanted to. You can also move the PWM fan hub a little bit lower if you wanted to spread your cable management through the top and it was interfering up there. In the back we also have a friction mounted SSD mount, which can be mounted to screws, but it'll be easier by friction. You can either mount it where it is or on the bottom if you want to. You can also buy separately another SSD bracket and mount it on the bottom and fill those 2 slots. Included in the Phanteks accessory box we get a very nice user manual, a really nice toolbox with all the screws laid out in order, a bag of zip ties and Velcro straps, and the really nice reservoir bracket that can be installed on the hard drive cages. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching my review of the Phanteks Enthoo Pro. To conclude, I would like to say that this case is the best case I've seen so far, with all the enthusiast capabilities plugged in to this case for only sub $100, $99 being in fact for the windowed version. This really competes with a bunch of other cases. I mean, what other case provides so many radiator mounts for this price point, as well as a very sturdy and very ergonomic design of the case itself? If you have $100 to spend on a case, buy this one for sure. Even if you did have a little bit more for this case, you would really want to get this one because this beats out anything at this price point or even a little bit higher. Although this is only Phanteks' second case, Phanteks has released 2 more cases between this year's period. I can't really wait for what they have in store next. Alright guys, like I said, thank you so much for watching. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Like, subscribe, and share. Please, it really helps a lot. And thank you for dealing with my cold voice because I'm actually sick right now and it's very hard to speak. Alright guys, see you in the next one.